Okay, so now we're gonna follow through on how to add text and another shape. Okay, so I want to do a logo at the top here. So I'm going back to my shapes and I'm going to look at this circle one, this ellipse tool. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click, and there's my circle. Just want to get the right size of it, maybe like that. And I'm going to use my move tool just to move it up a little bit. All right, so there's my ellipse. Oops. Okay, enter. Is it working? Where's my ellipse? There's my ellipse. And I want to make a nice circle. Maybe I'll do, I don't know, 2 points instead. I can go up here and write actually 2. Okay, that's my ellipse. So you see there? Okay, why don't I have a stroke around that? I'm on my ellipse layer. Actually, I'm going to move that up to the top. Like that. Well, that's interesting. If I wanted to undo what I just did, I can do Control Z on a PC or Command Z. It moves my layer back down here. And you notice here that my circle doesn't have a stroke or an outline around it. And I'm wondering why. Why doesn't it have it? Because I clearly put it in. Here is my circle. I know that the stroke is there, the outline, yet when I'm not, when I go away, it's from that layer, it's not showing up. And that's because it's down here behind the header. The header is on top of the ellipse. So any kind of outline on the ellipse is underneath the header. But I know that this ellipse is on top of the header. So even if I move it above the header, you see there, now it becomes visible with the outline. So I can move this above. So you should always remember these layers, whatever is below it is underneath it, and there might be instances where it was hiding. So like if I move this back down here, this circle here is hiding under the header and I can't see it here. So I'll move it back up here and now I can see it. This doesn't look very centered to me, so I might want to move this further in the center. And there's another tool that you can use to see. I put across the top here and on the side here is a ruler, and if I double click on it, it gives me to my preferences pane. And so for my ruler, here I can select whether it's inches, centimeters. I've selected pixels in this case, and that's why it shows up in pixels. So there's this pixels, and then if I wanted to kind of visually see, I can click on the ruler and drag, and it'll help me, it'll give me certain guidelines. So like if I know I'm 985, I don't know what the middle is, but like say I wanted to line up a bunch of boxes, I can put that there, and you'll see that as a different color, and then I can make another box here. If I go down here and pick my rectangle, and if I want to do like a text box or something here, I can just line it up like that and it'll be there. If I want to get rid of these guidelines, I would go to View and clear my guidelines, and then they'll just go away. So they're just there temporarily in case I want to use them as a guideline. Okay, now the text, if I want to add some text, the other tool is, so we've covered rectangle and we've covered move tool, and we've covered in this video the ellipse tool that we did the circle with, and now we're going to go through the text, add text. So this is this T, which is adding text, and I'm going to put my cursor up here so that any new layers are being added up top. Put T for text, and then I get this little dotted box. So I'm going to put text up here, and I'm going to type in that my dimensions are 985 by 1000 px. We know that that's there. So I can enter. And you see it automatically labels it with the text that I put in there. So that's the text box. We know that. The text box, so we're going to have to enter in the pixel dimensions. Say I wanted to add, again, in the text here, what my menu bar titles might be. So I'll click here and say this is going to be blog. Okay, so that's a layer is called blog. I want to move it up a little bit, so I think I can use move tool just to move it slightly there or there. So I'm always using move tool. Go back to my type tool, and maybe I'll type in another header of my menu bar of how-to guides. That's going to be what I'm going to write. There's my how-to guides. I want to move that up a little bit too. Up there. So these are going to be my menu items that I'm going to have here. I have to also indicate my dimensions. I'll just do that here. And I know that I did it at 985 by 40 pixels. There. Move that up a little so it's in there. All right. So we're doing well. So that's how we use the text tool. And you can see that it starts to put it on each different layer here. So that's good. So you'll have to do that for each box, you know, and even the footer. There's a T. Do that here. The footer was 985 by, actually I don't know what the footer size was. Let's say I want it to be, I don't know, 120 pixels. That was my plan. Okay, so let me go to find my footer in my layer. You see, that's why it becomes important to label them, because now I know, where's my footer? Where's my footer? Look, I even have rectangle 1. What's that? Oh, that's under there. That's my text box. Text box, that goes under box 2. Great. Maybe I want to put next to box 2. There's my footer. Okay, there's my footer on my footer layer. I'll go to my rectangle, and so it's 973 by 78. Okay, I mean, if that's the size that I want visually to keep it, I can. So I can just adjust my text box. If I do want to put it at 985 by 120, then what you'll see, 985 by 120. See what happens. Take my move tool. It's going to be a bigger box. So I put that there. So there's this footer. That's the one before, and this is the one I just created. You know what? I kind of like the older one versus the one I just created, which is not 985 by 120. So you know what? I'm going to take this, and I'm going to delete that one because I don't care. Did I do it? There. And so I'm back in my footer, go back to my rectangle, click on it, and it's 973 by 78. So that I know I want to adjust this text, I have to go to the layer, 983 by 78 I think it was, and I just realized I'm not in the text tool, I'm still in the rectangle tool. So I go back to my text tool, make sure I'm in my layer, and then, oops, Control Z, I just created a new layer. And this might happen to you as well. So I don't want that. I'm going to get rid of it because I don't need that. I just created it accidentally. I want to go in here. So I'll just double click on the T here, which activates this. And I know that it's going to be, oops, it was 78, right? And it was 923. There we go. So even I can get confused, like, oh, I was in the rectangle tool when I wanted to change my text box, and I had to make sure that I was on the right layer. I accidentally created a new layer. Anyways, so that's why it's always I can't stress this enough, how very important it is to make sure you name all your layers that you're working with, especially, you know, like when you come back and you want to look for what you just did. Okay, there's the footer one, and then that's how that works. So that's how you use the text tool, which is here. You're still using the shape tool, whether it's rectangle or ellipse, to create the circle, and the move tool up here to move stuff around, and that way you can kind of start filling that out.